Hello you guys, welcome back. Today I wanted to make a very important video. Okay, this is something that I am very passionate about and just feel very strongly about, and also guys, I got bangs. I was left unattended by my friend for a couple of days and I got bangs and I'm still figuring out how to style them, and I put rollers in them today and I don't know, they're doing a thing. It's okay. Let's get into it. Anyways. So today's video is on holding a very strong vision for yourself and for your life and what you want to experience in your life. And this is something that I have just always been about. Unfortunately, there was an era of my life when I was younger, when I was a teenager, probably maybe even early 20s, I don't know. Probably just like teenager for sure, where I didn't give a fuck about my life. All I cared about was my boyfriend and just wanting to follow him around and do whatever he wanted to do. He had these big goals and dreams and aspirations for himself to move to California and go to college and have a scholarship and play lacrosse and do his whole thing. I had no plans for myself in my life. So I was like, okay, I'll just follow you and I'll find a job and I'll do whatever you want to do. And I didn't have any personal goals for myself. I really didn't feel excited about my life. I really just was like centering my life around this other person who had dreams and goals for themselves. And I kind of just disregarded this entire life that I have in front of me. And thank God I woke the fuck up from that situation and realized that I have so many dreams and goals and aspirations and so many things that I want to accomplish in this lifetime, and that I have very, very specific visions of what I want my life to look like right now and in the future and further down the line. I have always had a very strong vision, and it has changed over time. It has changed and shifted over time, which is completely normal as we grow and go through life and we learn more and we refine what we want and we experience more. We get exposed to different things, and our consciousness continues to expand, our awareness continues to expand as we realize what's possible, what really resonates with us, what feels good. So yeah, that part is completely normal. But I have always, since that point of deciding and realizing, oh my God, I have this life of my own that I want to do things with, I've always had a very strong vision for myself. And like I said, it doesn't really matter the super specifics, but just knowing that I am going to live an incredible, amazing, beautiful, magical life. That I'm going to get all the things that I want, that things are going to unfold for me even more beautifully than I can imagine. And I obviously do have specific goals that I've had for very many years, but I've always known for myself that through it all, like, I have not wanted to live a normal life. I didn't go to college. I did not live my life in like the traditional way of like steps that most people take in their life. That never really resonated with me. I always knew that I was going to kind of do things differently and do things my own way. I have never liked working. I don't think anybody likes working, but I do think that I just like know that I will not accept working a normal job for the rest of my life. Like, that just doesn't make sense to me. That just doesn't resonate. That doesn't feel right within my body, that I'm just going to work and that I'm going to give all of my time away and all of my energy away to something that isn't like pouring back into myself and doesn't feel fulfilling to me. And I know that's like easier said than done, right? Like, we have to work and we have to make money. And I definitely have had to do that. There have been times in my life, many times, where I've had to do things that I didn't necessarily want to do, go back to jobs that I didn't want to do, but just knowing within myself that all of that is temporary, because eventually I am going to be living my dream life, and I refuse to sway from that. And I think that I know that we have so much power as human beings, and obviously there are so many circumstances and situations that happen that are outside of our control, but we have so much power than we realize to cultivate our lives, to sculpt our lives, to curate our lives to our liking. And we possess so much ability and so much power to make things the way that we want. And I feel like sometimes we can disregard that, or we can forget that, or we just feel like we have to live our life this way from society, or we feel pressure from other people in our lives to live our life a certain kind of a way, or we feel scared to step into our true authentic selves. But we have all of the power, you guys. We have all of the power. We have discernment. We have the ability to set boundaries. We have the ability to say no to things. And that is how we sculpt and shape our lives, and how we ensure that we get to experience the things that we want to experience in life. So obviously we can't control the way that somebody treats us, right? Everybody has free will. We can't control the way that our friend treats us, the way that our partner treats us, the way that our job treats us, but we do have the power to be able to say, this doesn't feel good to me. I don't want to experience this anymore. Or this is actually not okay with me, or I'm not okay with this treatment. I'm not okay with the way that this feels. And obviously it's like with setting boundaries and stuff, you don't want to just like cut everybody off the second they make a mistake. We're human beings, like we're not going to be perfect, and also people can't read your mind. So I really think it is important to communicate when it comes to like your relationships with other people, whether it's a romantic relationship, friendship, or a familial relationship, or anything like that. I do think it really is important to put effort in, and to when you feel it's necessary. Obviously you know your situation better than I do, but to put effort in, or to do what you need to do to feel like you put your all into something, if that's what you want to do. Or maybe even just like communicating your needs so that the other person is aware, and then once they are aware, if they choose to not show up in the ways that you are saying that you need, then being able to walk away from that situation, to make a change, to say, no, this is actually not the vision that I have for my life. This is actually not how I want to feel in my relationship dynamics. This is actually not what I want to be experiencing in a workplace environment. This is actually not what I want out of my house. I actually want a washer and dryer, and I actually want better parking, and I actually want a lot more space, or I actually want a partner that is able to be more present with me, or I actually want, you know, a job that is paying me this amount. Whatever it is, just being able to have the awareness and the strength to walk away from something that is not fitting your needs for yourself, and to just hold so strongly in this vision of what you want to experience out of your life, how you want to feel in your life, and to really just stick to that, and to not lower your standards, and to not to not shrink yourself to fit other people or other environments, but to allow other people to rise to the occasion to meet your standards. And you know, I just feel like so many times we shrink ourselves, or we act out of like limitations or perceived like lack or limits, or we feel like we have to like settle for certain things. If something feels okay to us, just okay, but doesn't feel like phenomenal, we think, okay, like I don't know if it's gonna get much better than this. But the truth is, we live in an ever expanding universe, and that everything that we manifest materializes from a limitless place, from source, and our thoughts materialize into the 4D. And there really is no limit. There really is no lack. And I know it can be really hard to accept that when some of us have been shown lack and limits what feels like our entire lives, maybe growing up poor with less money or this and that. But really for me, realizing like that I can change my mindset, and then experience firsthand that I'm not binded by this one way of being. I can choose how I want to live my life. I can put the action in to change my life. I can attune my frequency to attract new experience into my life, and that I'm really not stuck, that there really is no limit. And just really for myself, allowing myself to think so big about what it is that I want in life, and allowing myself to dream bigger than I can imagine, to really say, if there was no lack, if there was no limit, if I didn't have to settle, if I knew it was all possible for me, what would I truly want in this lifetime? How would I want things to look? How would I want things to feel? And just holding that vision so strongly through my life, and allowing that vision to help me navigate what feels right, what doesn't feel right, what feels okay, what doesn't feel okay, what I'm willing to accept and what I'm not willing to accept, to ensure that I get to live this dream fantasy life. And, you know, there's a lot of people who will try to project their lack or their limitations that they have for themselves For instance, my father, when I wanted to move to California, I hadn't moved out of my parents' house yet. And up until, pretty soon before I moved out, I really wasn't that self-sufficient, and I struggled with a lot of anxiety, and I just had a hard time adulting. So for my father, he would try to tell me all the time, and I don't know why he would do that. He'd always be like, you're not going to move. You're just going to be here forever, and you're not going to do it. And I just know you're not going to be able to make it happen. And what did I do? I made it happen. I came out here and I've been thriving, and I've experienced so much magic. Like, it's insane. And I know that my dad was speaking from his experiences and from what he maybe saw for me. Maybe he couldn't see the things that I was experiencing within, and the knowings within that I was going to be able to make this happen, and that I am destined to experience really magical, amazing things. But he was coming from his small-minded experience of life and what he thinks is possible for himself and others. And I feel like me coming out here and getting to experience like all of these luxurious, incredible experiences is really eye-opening for him, actually. But if I had just listened to him and his projections and him telling me that I'm not going to do these things, then I wouldn't have done them. I wouldn't have tried, right? But it's like, people are going to project what they think is possible for themselves onto you, but you have to be so careful and so conscious to not internalize anybody else's false limitations, lack, anybody else's, insecurities, whatever it is that they are struggling with, that they'll try to think that you're struggling with too. You need to be so aware to not take that in, to not take that on, and to not view life through that lens. You are allowed to view your life through whatever lens you want, whatever lens feels right to you, whether it's very delusional until it actually happens, because I've experienced that firsthand too. There are so many things that I have said I'm going to experience in this life to my friends that sounded crazy and then happened. Like, really, truly. My friend Kendra just told me the other day that she literally thought that I was like fucking magic because I had said that I was going to do something like very outlandish. And then a year later, she saw me doing it on Instagram and she was like, what the fuck? Like, how did she do that? And it's because I believe in myself so strongly. And because I have adapted these mindsets that support me and support the life that I want to live. And I truly, truly believe them, and I act from them. And it works for me. It really, really does. Like, our life is up to us. We get to decide how we want to live our life. We get to curate it. We get to sculpt it. We get to put parameters around what we allow and what we don't allow to ensure that we get to experience the dream life that we want to experience. It does require sacrifice sometimes, because a lot of times things maybe don't feel right to us, or they just feel okay, like I said, but we want them to feel magical. We want them to feel incredible, especially considering this life is so short. Why would we not want things to feel as good as they possibly can, as passionate as they possibly can, as fulfilling as they possibly can, as deep and meaningful as they possibly can? Like, life is so short and so fragile. Why would we not be making the absolute most out of it? And sometimes things feel okay. Sometimes we're familiar with them. Jobs that we've worked for years and years and years, long-term relationships, friendships that we've had for a really long time, but we realize that they don't feel fully in alignment, or we're not getting exactly what we need out of them. And so that means that we have to make a decision for ourselves to either try to work on that with that person, that situation, and see if we can find, a compromise or a place where we really do feel fulfilled and like we're getting what we want, what we need. But if we're not, then that leads us to the position to have to walk away, to have to make a change, to have to show up differently and do whatever you intuitively know that you need to do. And it is a sacrifice, because you're leaving behind what feels familiar and what feels comfortable and what you're used to, and stepping into the unknown can feel so scary that sometimes we just want to settle because we just want to know that we have this security. We want to feel safe. We want to feel comfortable. We don't want to have to go through the fucking feelings of having to grieve something, or the fear of starting something new, or the fear of not knowing how things are going to turn out, or not having security. I remember when I was apartment hunting, there were so many places that just weren't it, but I was trying to force it so bad because I was scared I was going to be on the street and I didn't want to have to stay with my friends, and I felt so out of my comfort zone. But instead of like forcing it and settling for something that I knew wasn't exactly what I wanted, it didn't hit every single box. It hit almost all of them, but not every box. Instead of doing that, I decided to just let go, trust the universe, and then went on this whole journey. I have a video about it if you want to watch it. And then I ended up finding my perfect place later, but it was fucking scary. I have very many photos of me crying on my phone because not having secure housing was terrifying, and it would have been a lot more comfortable feeling to just go with something, to know that I have a house, just to say, okay, fine, I'll just do this one so I know I have a place to sleep at night. But no, I had such a strong vision of what I wanted out of a house, and I held on to that, and I held out for that. And through that experience, I got to go on this cool detour where I got to experience so many magical things. So it really is just standing strong and standing on business of what you want and not settling, not shrinking. And the reason why I feel so passionate about this, or I guess the reason why I felt extra motivated to make this video now, even though it was already something I was planning on, is because I started this TV show called Girls last night. And the actor Adam Driver is in it with Lena Dunham, and she's basically like, I don't know, they're not even dating. It's this grimy, disgusting guy, basically. He's not like abusing her, but he's doing something even more sinister, dare I say, where he's just so gross, and she just has so many insecurities that it's like she is just accepting like literally the bare minimum and just this like really, really gross treatment from this guy. And it lit a fire in me like nothing has recently. It really lit a fire in me to realize, holy shit, we all need to have such high standards for what we want in this life and what we are willing to accept. And I feel like this is something I'm continually working on. I definitely accept treatment that like doesn't feel good to me sometimes, and thank God I'm not as down bad as Lena Dunham's character in that show, and as down bad as I have been in the past, because trust me when I tell you, my self-worth has been so low at certain points in my life. It's actually repulsive and really, really sad. But I'm so glad that I have leaned into healing and leaned into loving myself and realizing my worth and realizing that I'm inherently worthy and deserving just by existing, and I don't actually have to do anything to be worthy of the things that I want in this life. But you guys, it is just so important that we heal so that we do not operate out of a mindset of insecurity, of lack, of just unworthiness, because seeing that was just, it was enough for me. I was like, oh fuck no, that is insane. Girl, stand up, okay? It was so bad. It was so bad to see. But you guys, I just know for myself and for other people in my life that we can accept things in our life that is so below us and so below what we are worthy of experiencing, what we could be experiencing, and so below what we want to be experiencing, but we just allow it because we have unhealed wounds that make us feel like this is the best we're gonna get, or like this is the treatment that we're deserving of, or like it's not gonna get better than this. But it can and it will. We just have to be willing to say no to certain things, to take the risk, to take the leap, to listen to your intuition, to do the scary thing, to go into the unknown, to go out of your comfort zone, to shift things, to try something new, like whatever it is that you intuitively know, because you do know what it is that you want and what it is that needs to change in order to live this dream life that you have for yourself. And guys, just allow yourself permission to think big and to really think about what feels best to you, outside of what your parents want for you, outside of what your relationship wants for you, your friends, anybody else. Truly, what feels good to you and what do you want? Because it is your life, and this lifetime is so short, and it's actually better for humanity, for anybody else you encounter, for you to honor yourself, because you're going to be the best version of yourself. You're going to be the kindest version of yourself, the most fulfilled, and it's really a ripple effect. So you really have to put yourself first. You really have to be so conscious to not internalize anybody else's lack or limitations. When somebody projects that onto you, just send them love. just send them love, that they can open their eyes, that they can wake up, and just have compassion that they're speaking out of their experience, their lived experience, their circumstance. And unfortunately, they maybe weren't gifted the tools or the awareness, or, you know, just had to experience really unfortunate circumstances. And, you know, I really have a lot of compassion, because I totally understand why somebody isn't going to have, you know, an abundance mindset when they've experienced everything but abundance. And then there's so many things that come into play with that, and so many circumstances in life and privilege and things that make things so unfair for everybody. But I'm just telling you that you are so worthy of the things that you want in this life, and you are so deserving. And I really just think that we need to be doing everything that we can to ensure that for ourselves, because you are deserving of it, and you know what it is that you want, and you know what feels good to you. And that might look very different than what somebody else wants for themselves. Not everybody wants the same things. Even desiring a very simple, quiet life, maybe that's your dream, maybe that's what you want to do. But just holding that vision for yourself, knowing that it's possible, and knowing that you don't have to accept things that don't feel good to you. There are usually ways. I personally feel like there's always ways to figure things out, and I know that can be really easier said than done. Sometimes we're really tied up in situations, other people need our help. You know, it can be really, really tough to put yourself first, but I really feel like it is best for everybody involved if you can find a way to do that, or even just start in little ways. And then, yeah, just not shrinking yourself, not settling, allowing other people and circumstances to come and meet you where you need to be met. And obviously yourself showing up in those ways for yourself too, and for other people too. You want it to be a reciprocal energy, but not shrinking yourself, not settling, or not even allowing people to rise. If somebody can't rise to meet you, just holding out until somebody else is already at that exact same level and can meet you in the exact same ways that you want. And yeah, just go through life and just stay curious about what is possible. And even if you haven't seen somebody else do it, somebody has to be the first always. But know whatever anybody else has experienced, they've experienced it. It's possible for you as well. You are no different than anybody else. You are not any less capable than anybody else. You have the exact same, you know, tools and wiring and capability in your own unique, special way, which is like what makes life so fun and so incredible. And just allow yourself to be inspired about what you witness and what you experience in life. I know that for myself, I really want to have a family one day. I really want to have a partner, and I really, really want to have kids. I think about having kids almost every day, and I really look forward to when the timing is right, and when it's just divine timing and divine alignment, and it makes sense for myself, and I'm financially capable of supporting myself and my children and all of that. And so for me, being around really healthy family dynamics is so inspiring for me. I babysat for this family recently, and the parents were so freaking lovely to each other, so sweet, and just seeing the way that they interact with each other, and the presence that they were gifting each other, and the love and the sweetness and the kindness that they were gifting each other after being together for a very, very, very long time. And then the way that they both show up for their children, and especially just like the way the mom was so inspiring to me, just like everything that I could possibly ever want to be in a mom. And the husband was so inspiring too. And I feel like I haven't had like a ton of exposure to family dynamics that looked this way. And so instead of just taking on this negative mindset of like, you know, marriages never work out, and, you know, men never show up for their kids or can't be as attentive for their kids as a mom, whatever, you know, maybe what I've seen and I've experienced in my life, or what other people are always saying, or other people who have gone through divorces or are more jaded, instead of listening to their perspectives, just actually focusing on things that couples that are happy together and that are living the life that I want to live, and just knowing that that's possible, being inspired by that, witnessing that, and just knowing like, okay, I want a partner that is going to gift me with the same presence that I'm seeing this other couple experience, or I want to be able to show up for my kids in the way that this family is showing up for their children as well. Just going through life and just really staying inspired by other people, and learning and picking up new things along the way and seeing what feels good to you. And just even when your outward, like, physical life is not reflecting anything remotely close to this dream vision that you have for yourself, just maintaining that vision and just holding the vision, you guys. There have been so many times in my life where I have felt so rough, where nothing was going right in my life, where I actually felt like I was taking a million steps back, and I felt stuck, and I felt scared, and I felt like I was never going to get out of certain situations and never going to get to a place that felt good to me. But even in those really dark times, I'm really, really grateful that I have always been able to keep this strong vision alive for myself. And I've done that by journaling about it. I love daydreaming. I daydream all the time. I love doing specific meditations to just visualize my ideal future and to feel into it, to feel the sensations in my body, and to remind myself of what is possible, and to attune my frequency to the feelings of this desired outcome and this desired future and the ways that I want to feel. And even when it's not reflected in my reality, even when I feel so far from that, just conjuring up those feelings and reminding myself, even a glimmer of possibility, that this is possible for me, that this can happen for me, that this is still a reality for me, just not right now. And really living from this vision of the future and this knowledge that I can make it happen for myself, and that I am worthy and I'm deserving of it. And even if my life doesn't reflect it right now, that doesn't mean it will always be this way. And just really staying strong and just continuing to use discernment and just do what feels right to me, and to just honor myself and know that I am just so worthy of experiencing what it is that I want to experience. Anyways, you guys, I hope you're able to take some kind of inspiration away from this video. I definitely felt very worked up, because this is just something I'm very passionate about, because I really believe that we are all so worthy of experiencing what we want to experience. And I hate seeing people settle, and I hate seeing people accept the bare minimum or act out of a place of lack for themselves or insecurity. I just want the absolute best for us. I just want us to all be treated kindly and abundantly and sweetly and magically, and I just want us to be able to all experience the things that we want to do. I know it's hard. I know that life can be really hard. Circumstances can be hard. But like I said, we have so much more power than we realize to curate even small areas of our life to our liking, and to decide what it is that we want to experience in this life. I've said experience in this life so many times throughout this video, but anyways, you guys, I believe in you. I believe in myself. This is a continual journey of healing and of awakening and of implementing strength and awareness, but I really, really believe in us, and I'm really, really excited for us to continue to curate our lives to our liking and show up for ourselves in the ways that are necessary. So anyways, you guys, I love you so much, and I will see you guys in a video again soon. Okay, bye!